Welcome to At Issue. Thank you for joining us. I'm H. Wayne Wilson. In recent memory, the Peoria YWCA closed down. The Carver Community Center shut down and has now reopened. We had the Mental Health Association of Illinois Valley being absorbed by the Holt Center for Healthy Living. The Peoria Art Guild has shut down operations on two separate occasions. And most recently, statewide, Lutheran Social Services laid off 750 people. These are organizations that provide the social fabric of the state of Illinois and of central Illinois. And we're going to be talking about the impact that we can have on them and the impact the state has had on them for the next half hour. And to have that conversation, let me welcome to At Issue Richard Zuckerman. Richard is the president of the board of directors of the Peoria Art Guild. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
And also with us is Doug Johnson. Doug is the executive director of the McLean County Arts Center. Doug, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
Joan Erickson joins us. Joan is the founder and the development director of the Sun Foundation up in Washburn. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting us.
And the president of the United Way, the Heart of Illinois United Way, which is Peoria-based, is Michael Steffen. Thank you for being here. Richard, your organization was mentioned in the open here. You had a problem in 2010, shut down temporarily, were able to reopen. Now you've shut most of your operation down again, laid off your employees. What is the basic problem?
The basic problem is two things. One is our overhead, our expenses, because of the building that we own down on Harrison Street. And the second thing is, of course, the funding for maintaining our services.
And no employees right now?
No employees right now,
but
run by the board.
You have one project still planned for September.
Right. We have had the Fine Art Fair in Peoria for 53 years. This will be our 54th year. We used to have it out at Junction City. Now we're down at the riverfront for a number of years. We plan on having a 2016 fair. We were able to put on the 2015 fair. It was very successful. Had beautiful weather. We hope for beautiful weather again in September of 2016, and we're looking forward to having our fair down there. But we've concentrated all our efforts on that.
So what is the future of programming at the Art Guild?
Well, we don't know that at this point. We are trying to basically reconstitute ourselves. We are focusing primarily on the fair, and it would depend on how successful we are in continuing to maintain that one mainstay of ours, and then what else we can do in terms of bringing back some of the former programs we had before. Part of the problem in coming back from the 2008 to 2010, what we call the black period, which basically was because of the recession, is I think we came back a little too fast and tried to do too much too quickly, and hired too many employees, and had increased our overhead beyond what we were able to do with membership and sponsorship monies, and that's part of the problem what we got into at this point.
You mentioned 2008, 2010. Some people might suggest it's still going on with the
Certainly
changed economy. So let's talk about that, Doug. What has changed since before 2008 that impacts the arts organizations in Central Illinois?
Well, there's more desire for independent funding from people of means, from corporations, and there's more stretch for those organizations that are able to provide grants. And so it's become much more competitive, and actually less dollars are often available because the economy has soured, and there's not the resources from those agencies that have perhaps offered grants for decades. And so it becomes a struggle. So you have to look at what your programmatic model is, where can you find funding, and then really readjust and constantly spend time doing fundraising, whereas before there was more programming that could be our area of focus.
Richard, that's impacted you with in terms of more competition, and the pie maybe has shrunk a little bit?
Well, definitely. I mean, when we first went into the building on Harrison, we had a gift shop. We did away with that sales rental because basically that program was not, it was mostly consignment, but it just was not a profit center. We also had we also had a rental program, sales rental program for corporations. They don't rent art anymore. So all of that funding in terms of the businesses that we used to rent art to and then hopefully sell and then take commissions out of that, that's all dried up and that's all gone. And then the other area that we had was our studio school, and there's much more competition, mostly with private art galleries, private artists, in terms of the kinds of classes that are offered by the studio school that are now available in other areas of town, other than the classic not-for-profit arts organization.
So you're talking about an urban area. You're in downtown Peoria. You might expect some competition. Joan, you're up in Washburn.
Yes.
You're you serve 4 counties. They're primarily rural counties.
Yes, there's primarily 9, but for our regranting program, it's 4, and they're primarily rural.
So have you seen more competition, or what is the impact financially on the Sun Foundation?
Well, there's many factors. The holdup on the state funding for the Illinois Arts Council, the unemployment, just the general economy, how it's hit so many people, and especially in the rural communities where we see, farming being impacted also. And so we've had, like Doug has, we've had to make a lot of adjustments, and the foundation is funded by public contributions and awarded grants. So we are always, looking for those new resources. And we're very grateful that we have a wonderful volunteer force and great support from our small businesses as well as the other corporations that have come to our help and keep us going year after year, the 43rd year.
Yeah, can I add to that, H? I mean, the sheer number of 501c3 nonprofit
Yes.
organizations over the last 5 to 10 years has more than doubled.
Yes.
And so there is greater competition for that charitable dollar. And I think now organizations like all of ours need to demonstrate that accountability, those tangible results, and show our
Yes.
impact in the community.
Yes. I think the diversity is, that we've all had to adapt, and we've had to diversify the way we seek funds and how we raise funds. And I think that's pretty much across the board. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes. Yeah, for
that's-
sure.
Yeah, and especially with cultural enterprise, which is
Yes.
always dependent upon perhaps empty nesters, retirees, that market share is continually
Yes.
need to be renewed. We're
Right.
constantly having to build those relationships, and that starts with youth programming, and you work through decades to have that audience. But it's constantly refreshing your pool of resources and your partnerships.
When you think about the endowments that organizations may or may not have, or higher education, because the interest rates are low, they're not, the income from that is dropped. And I think on the individual level and the business level, individuals who would donate to your organization for various reasons may not have the resources they once had from their stock or from their retirement, because the interest rates have dropped and they're not receiving that type of extra funds that they could put out into the community.
Yeah, I think all of us also need to do a better job of target marketing. I mean, that one ass fits all isn't necessarily the
Right.
case anymore. I mean, you look at the millennials, they're a very generous group of individuals, but they want to see it, touch it, feel it, be part of that organization first,
Yes.
and then they're very generous.
But there's a real balance you have to strike there. I mean, we were doing our exhibits. We tended to, over the last couple of years, to go a little more risky,
Right.
if you will, and that starts to affect your older base, your regular base, and you start up to worrying about balancing bringing in the millennials
sure.
who may or may not be able to contribute fund-wise, and then on the other hand, not alienating your steadfast base that has been contributing for years.
For sure.
But tied with that is a need to have strong technology in order to connect them. For every exhibition we do a video that we post on our website and social media, which is terrific in that we can get people in that normally would feel perhaps a little intimidated by some contemporary art. But that doesn't necessarily translate to every sector of our audience that they want to see that. But it's still a resource that is important to us as an organization, and it takes time to do that.
There's no question that Facebook and Twitter are essential these days for any
Yeah.
service organization.
Let's turn to funding sources, and I want to start statewide, maybe even NEA, but
Yeah.
let's talk about where we turn for money. And Doug, you're on the board member for Arts Alliance Illinois,
Yes.
and you get money through the state.
We do. My organization receives a program grant, and we also apply for and receive the Community Arts Access Grant, or Joan said, the regranting dollars. The money, we just received notification, a week and a half ago, for the Community Arts Access Grant. The regranting has been made available from the Illinois Arts Council, which frankly was a little bit of a surprise given the complications of the state budget. But that's money that is directly supplied from the National Endowment for the Arts. And actually the NEA had an increase in total budget for the next fiscal year, which is terrific. But the program dollars, those monies, which my organization used to be around 20,000, have been closer to 10, and there's no word about whether those dollars will be released, which, for many organizations, it could be, 3-4% of the total budget, but it's enough to make them close their doors.
What about state money for Sun Foundation?
It's the same as Doug's. Our program grant provides operational support about the same amount, 9,000 to 10,000, and we've seen that drop since 2008. It was primarily a $30,000 grant, and within 3 or 4 months went down to an $8,000 grant. And so the adaptation there is, once again, we received the National Endowment for the Arts funds through our Illinois Arts Council grant to re-grant to those 4 counties we talked about. But we would have been notified at the end of August that we had a program grant which we could have used for operational support, and we could have used that to have some kind of stability. And we haven't heard yet whether or not those grants will be funded, or if they are funded, at what level, or if they will be gone. We just don't know.
No.
We
Are
have
there
no commitment at all.
Any state funding to the Peoria Art Guild?
The Art Guild had traditionally had a programming Illinois Arts Council grant. It was, I think, at the high probably $20,000. I think more recently it's been in the $5,000 to $8,000 range. And we also don't know about 2015.
What's your primary source of income?
Our primary source of income, we have basically had memberships. We had some Arts Council funding. We had some organizational funding from private industry. The usual kinds of
And
things.
is it just one of the problems is it's just a shrinking base? You already talked about
Exactly.
there's not a rental program anymore, and there's not
Exactly,
a gift shop.
and of course, when corporations like Caterpillar switch their focus from arts organizations to social service organizations, with all respect to the social service organizations, that took away a traditional source of funding that we could always look to. It was competitive, but it was something we could always look to in terms of funding.
Well, let's talk about social services, because the United Way focuses in 3 main areas: health, and education and income.
Correct.
You are doing well in that you are increasing. Is that typical of a United Way across the country?
No, we're very fortunate. The Peoria area is just so generous, so compassionate. In fact, over the last 10 years, we've had about an 87% increase in revenue, while the top 100 United Ways across the country, the median average for those same 10 years is a negative 2%. And so we're actually the fastest growing United Way in the country. Again, I think that speaks volumes of, again, the compassion and generosity here in the Peoria area. Now, for us, we don't rely on state funding, but our partner agencies, many of them, do rely on state funding. In fact, we're the 2nd largest funder of health and human services after the state government. And in fact, in 2013 and 2014, collectively, our 47 partner agencies lost between $12 and $15 million from the state. So we can fill some of that void, but by no means can we fill all that void. So many of our partner agencies are having to cut back on programs, and obviously that impacts the number of people they can serve.
We've talked about some of the changes in funding, and Richard mentioned it, and you've also changed the way this is over the past 10 years, you've changed the way that the 47 agencies who you help fund have to show or demonstrate metrics that the program actually is having a positive outcome?
Absolutely. They have to show tangible results. I mean, we're fortunate to be the one campaign at the workplace, and that's a privilege. That's not an entitlement. So every year we need to demonstrate to the business and civic and labor leaders in the community that we're the best investment for that charitable dollar. So it's a very competitive outcome-based process that we've implemented. That again, the organizations that we support need to demonstrate with their programs that they're moving the needle in addressing some of the critical needs in our community.
The Carver Community Center on the south side of Peoria is an example of an agency that did not provide those outcomes, now is back on track.
Absolutely. And they've done a fantastic job under the leadership of Ken Hinton. They've been able to demonstrate the types of programs and outcomes that we're looking for to address that part, the population there in the south end of our community.
So how do you do that for arts? How do you demonstrate to the donor, if I want to give to the McLean County Arts Center, I want to know that it's effective.
Sure.
How do you demonstrate that?
Well, maybe 6-8 years ago, the Illinois Arts Council Agency introduced a new granting policy, whereas everyone is completing the Cultural Data Project Report, which is essentially a rather expansive. Previously, I could do the financials on my organization in about 25 minutes, but this is like 18 pages of data that fulfills a lot of different criteria. On top of that, there's all the narrative structures that you complete, and it ultimately creates a document that could be essentially shopped to a lot of different granting agencies. And it's that type of expanded professionalism which really is the hallmark that we have to achieve when we're going out to have conversations with not only the Illinois Arts Council, but any grantor or any donor for that matter, where we can come to them with a report that says, here's the impact, here's the numbers of our audience, and here's examples of our programming. But it ultimately has to be more than that. We walk into all of those meetings with our financial data, with those reports, but also that narrative of impact. So we can say, this is how we've been able to change lives, and here's the advantage of cultural support for our community as a whole. And that's the dialogue that you have to engage in to be competitive.
I want to turn the conversation on the same line of thought, that we want a vibrant community, so we want good people to come to work at Caterpillar, at RLI, at Methodist, et cetera, and at State Farm, and et cetera. So they're looking for a variety of things. They want to know that there's a healthy United Way. They want to know that there's a healthy arts community. They want to know that there's a baseball team, and they want to know if there's a hockey team, et cetera. And both communities in McLean and Peoria counties provide that. However, if we start to, if the Art Guild does not recover, and then some other arts organizations, or if you start to cut back programs, what impact does the art community, and we'll talk about United Way in just a moment, but what impact does the art community have on the vibrancy and the social fabric of a community in terms of its financial impact, in terms of attracting people who will then donate to United Ways and to the Art Guild, et cetera?
I could give go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Joe.
I could give a concrete example. The Sun Foundation had a Suzuki School of Music for 32 years. And we would constantly get phone calls from people who were considering coming to Peoria to work for Caterpillar Corporation or other organizations, and wanted to know if their children would find a Suzuki program, a music program here. And when we lost it, of course, then, that was one less quality offering in education that we could offer to those who wanted to come to this community for education and for cultural development.
You want to add to that, Richard?
Yeah, I was going to say, when you look at the Peoria Art Guild Art Fair that we have every year, it's 2 days in September. It brings in, at a minimum, 20,000 people to the riverfront. Brings in sales taxes for the art that's sold and the food vendors that sell food. It brings people in who use hotel rooms, restaurants. It brings in all kinds of people who spend money at places other than at the event itself. So all of those things, you're going to lose that if you lose an art fair, or you're going or some other large type of organization like that.
Is there some way to put a dollar amount on this?
Actually, there is. with an event like that, obviously if you have 20,000 people that are attending an event, we have a like-sized event in Normal, there is a huge impact. And the dollar amount is vital, but also there's a sense of identity of a community because everyone is saying, this is the thing that they remember for their summer. But ultimately, the arts have a tremendous impact in the state of Illinois. Direct spending from just nonprofit arts and cultures organizations equals $1.5 billion in the state of Illinois. That's just the state of Illinois. And when you couple that with the spending of those audiences, it totals to $2.75 billion. So it makes a huge impact, and tax revenues alone from the spending from people that are attending your event would more than compensate, probably are tripled by the small amount of money we receive back from state and other grant institutions.
Were you referring to the Shakespeare Festival when you said the summer?
Summer events, we have our event is in the summer, so we always encapsulate it that way. But
I don't think people understand the financial impact of the Shakespeare Festival.
Sure. And actually, we had the benefit of a study done by Diego Mendez at Illinois Wesleyan University, who looked at the economic impact of arts programming in McLean County. And the Illinois Shakespeare Festival has just a huge impact. Their annual budget's just slightly over $1 million. But the total impact, again, just of programming for the arts for performing arts venues alone in McLean County is $1.5 million. So there's a huge economic incentive to support these programs, not just for the sense of identity, but for the wealth that they bring in and the opportunity they bring in.
I've seen studies which report anywhere from $5 to $10 returned for every dollar invested in the arts.
Mm-hmm. Let's turn to the United Way and the impact, or what might happen if Heart of Illinois United Way was not here.
It would be devastating to the health and human service sector of our community. Again, we're the second largest funder of health and human services. If we were not here to provide $11.4 million, last year is what we raised, for these critical health and human services that would impact our community, would impact the quality of life here in the Peoria area, and a lot of residents.
So what I'm hearing all of you say is that the value returned on the investment is much greater than that investment.
yes,
Absolutely, for
definitely.
sure. For sure.
You mentioned that the 47 agencies that you help fund, you don't fund their programs in their entirety,
Right.
but they've lost 12 to
15 million in 2013 and 2014. Now
in
with
two-
the
in a
budget
2-year
impasse-
period, they lost that much.
Correct. And now with the budget impasse, a lot of these agencies, whether it be working with mental health services or with people with disabilities, they're working on with a contract with the state but not being funded. And so they're burning through lines of credit, burning through their reserves, and not sure when, if ever, they're going to receive those dollars. So it's a very challenging time for many of our health and human service organizations in our area and across the state.
Is there any way that the Heart of Illinois United Way can help temporarily there, or?
We're doing the best that we can. That's why it's critical that we raise the maximum dollars to help fill as much of that void as possible. And also, we're in a great position to work with our partner agencies to help create some consolidation, some collaborations, merging of the backroom operations, any ways that we can look at creating some efficiencies to ensure that those dollars that we're collecting, whether it be from the state or from the United Way through the private sector, are utilized most effectively.
Let me turn to the three people who represent arts organizations and find out what your view of the future is in terms of the art community. You want to start, Richard?
Well, we have a very vibrant art community, and I think that in Peoria, and I think it's growing more in the private sector. I think that there have been some articles recently about, where the not-for-profits fit in, particularly in the arts communities, in terms of what they present, because of the fact that they don't generate money the same way that a private art gallery, a private artist generates money. So we've been somewhat of a catalyst in terms of giving artists a place to start, but that catalyst, particularly with the internet and things like that, aren't as necessarily available as they used to be and aren't as necessary as they used to be.
Doug?
With the downturn, I worked with members of other arts leaders within McLean County, and we founded together the Area Arts Roundtable, a consortium of arts programmers for Bloomington-Normal County at large. And in a way, it was a way to share best practices, but it was also a bit of circling the wagons. What are the resources that can be shared? How can we not overlap programming? It's forced us to be much more collaborative, and I think that sort of collaboration is the key for any cultural institution to continue. How can they partner with other organizations, be it a symphony or a social service organization?
And in 15 seconds, Joan?
Well, I think, I would agree with Michael. We're very fortunate to be in this community and have the support that we have from volunteers and from individuals, corporations, and businesses. And I really think that all these different acts that we're going through and evaluation and collaborations will take us. We'll be all right. We're strong. We'll make it.
On that positive note, we have run out of time, and let me say thank you to Joan Erickson of the Sun Foundation and Richard Zuckerman, President of the Board of the Peoria Art Guild. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
And Michael Steffen, who is President of the Heart of Illinois United Way, and Doug Johnson of McLean County Arts Center. Thank you all four for the conversation. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we'll be back next week with another edition of At Issue. This time, the mayor will be speaking, Mayor of Peoria, Mayor Jim Ardis, will be speaking on the state of the city on Wednesday. On Thursday, we'll be talking to the mayor and the city manager, Patrick Urich, about what is happening in Peoria. Join us then on the next At Issue.